What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Real Heroes Show. Got Corey, Nick, and Shane here with you, and in this video, it's season finale time for Foundation already. We are talking about episode 10, which is entitled The Leap. There will be spoilers in this episode, so if you have not seen any of the previous 9 episodes of Foundation or this finale, please click the pause button, go back and watch them, and then come back and see us. Shane, how was your weekend, sir?
It was good. I stained my fence for like 4 hours today. That was fun.
That sounds remarkably.
It was terrible.
Well, I'm glad you're here tonight to talk about sci-fi after doing something that's very earthly, like painting a fence.
Yes.
Nick, I feel like we've done this 2 times already tonight, but hey, 3rd time's the charm. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
I think this is
looking forward to this
the
episode.
3rd lighting scheme that you've had.
Yeah, I'm trying to just mix it up a little bit so that there's
different videos, different lighting. I love it.
Yeah. Kind of setting the mood.
Awesome.
The mood.
Yeah. So before we get started, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We're looking to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we need your help to do so. In this video, we're going to talk about the Empire plot first, as we tend to do on this show. Then we'll bounce over to Terminus, and then we're going to give our thoughts on the season as a whole. So the Empire stuff, let's just dive right into it. To try to give a little bit of a breakdown of what happened. R.I.P. Dawn. Azura gets the absolute worst sentence known to any person in history. That also ends up killing, I think, over 1,500 people, which is
1,551.
And Demerzel is a stone cold killer who then rips her face off. So, Shane, what are your thoughts on the Empire plot as we wrap up this first season of Foundation?
Yeah, this reminded me a little bit of Infinity War. There was a very important snap. Sorry, bad joke. Bad joke. But I mean,
button? Can I mute you?
much like the rest of the season, the Empire plot is like a top 5 show on television, and everything else is below par. This was awesome. I mean, we got sort of this kind of tragic story of Brother Day, how he grows up and does all of these things, and we saw his character development throughout the season. And then we get this like heart-wrenching moment where he tries to change what's going on with the Empire. He says we need to bend, we need to change if we're going to move forward. And then Demerzel says, no, you will not.
Yeah. I am loyal to Empire.
It's tragic because like his reaction is so compelling too. I mean, Lee Pace has been just
outstanding,
backpacking this entire show, the entire season. But this was sort of his peak as an actor.
Yeah, we got a big journey for him throughout the course of this season, and that all led up to the moment where he decides that he's gonna break the mold and be different, and then the mold fought back.
Yeah.
So to speak.
It's
tragic. Did it feel Shakespearean to you almost? Like in that giant room where the thrones are and everything for it to all happen, and then the final shot where they're slowly pulling out and he's just holding Dawn in his arms when he's dead. I thought it was all
it's a tragedy. Really he's trying to change, but circumstances will not let him.
Nick, what did you think of him murking every person that's ever had 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon from Azura?
Man, Brother Day. What a savage. I loved that scene. Of course, again, like just Lee Pace showing, how strong his shoulders are, because not only the fact that he works out, but his compelling acting in this entire season, and to the point where he's kind of just leading the way, and I'm kind of like, where's the final blow going to happen?
Yep.
And when he has her sit down, he sits down and he just kind of says, this is the research we did. This is how many people have been affected by you, Azura. And then he goes, with a simple signal, there, it's done.
Yeah.
Everyone gone that you've had touch with, and no longer. And I'm just like, wait, is that for real? Did he just
I thought he was bluffing.
So did I.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of curious, because it's not like we saw any sort of cut to like anyone else of those 1,551 people that were just completely removed from existence. but I almost believe him. And if not, man, what a manipulation just of a mind fuck to be like,
Yeah.
and then you're going to be fed intravenously, and then you're just going to have a shroud on you until we say so. And it's like, I don't know how she'll die or when she'll die or how long she'll be kept alive, but that's it. And again, it's just sort of this, but the reason why, and I had this in my notes here of when he says, I raised him like a son,
Mhm.
and he saw me as father, because we even hear in that again another great part when Don's talking to today about like, I looked to you as a father. There are times I wanted to call you father, but I couldn't. And it just, he says, Azura broke his heart, and then Demerzel broke his neck. Like, and I'm thinking, man, like Brother Day has just had a rough fucking day. Like
a rough year.
I think Shane, you said on the last episode it was Donald Glover coming home with the pizza on Community, and then everything's on fire, and that was pretty accurate.
But I kind of feel I had a feeling he was going to pardon Don and let him go, and then the irony of saying, wait, when Obrecht comes before him and tells him this news of the investigation, be like, the rebels' plans to undermine the dynasty are more extensive than they thought. And he goes, wait, so it's possible that I've been adulterated and that Dusk as well. So it's like, you just killed Don based on the fact that he wasn't a complete ripoff clone of Cleon the First.
Right.
And we might not be either, but we just don't know the abnormalities. Whereas it's been super apparent for Brother Don. And so, I was wondering what was going to happen because of that, from what Brother Day might do or set up for Dusk. But obviously the season ended, so I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen in season 2 now with that storyline, because that is super interesting, and especially once Demerzel like flips her shit and just like rips her entire face out. Yeah, she's just Terminator. She's a freaking what is it? Model was it the T800? Right? If I remember correctly.
Something like that.
But man, like
really, really good stuff. Like
so good.
The rage from Lee Pace when he takes the blunt end of the candlestick and just starts bashing the tank that has Cleon the First in it. That was great. I don't think it matters if he was bluffing about the 1,551 people or not, because of the fact that after that he says to her, you will never see, hear, touch, or feel again for the rest of your life. So she's going into that life sentence under the guise that because of her actions, all of these people are in trouble, and she'll never know the outcome, and she's just going to be shrouded in darkness. Like that is so much worse than killing somebody.
It reminded me of Dune. Spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen it. But like Oscar Isaac's character who dies thinking that his entire house has been obliterated, because that's what he's told. Similar kind of scenario, right?
For sure.
But
that was very good, and I don't think it didn't put a neat enough bow on it, because we obviously know that this show is being planned to be, I think, 8 seasons.
I think
Game of Thrones.
I think season 2 is in production officially.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That means it'll be here sooner than later, which is good. But I like the fact that we don't really know where it's going to go next, or how deep the rebel splinter cell of things goes, which gives us some pretty cool jumping off points for a second season. Anything else you find gentlemen would like to say about this plot before we Invictus jump over to Terminus?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. So we're going over to Terminus. And in this part of the plot, things finally started to really piece themselves together.
Yeah.
We saw Jared Harris walk down the mountain like Jesus at the end of the last episode to save this plot thread. And he was fantastic in the beginning. He drops a whole bunch of knowledge on them. We find out that he's a hologram because one of the kids tries to touch him, and he's not actually real, but he's essentially convincing all 3 of the different groups to bond together to actually take down the Empire, to essentially save humanity, which is neat. We get the reveal finally that we know that Gale or Salvor is actually Gale and Raish's daughter, even
Daughter,
though she was birthed from a different womb, which is like a
Yeah.
super weird sci-fi thing.
Yep.
And then Salvor ends up leaving Terminus to go find Gale. She crash lands on Synax. Gale makes it there 134 years after she left, which she did a few episodes ago. She saves her daughter, finds out that it is her daughter, and then is handed Harry's cube to end that whole plot thread. So, Nick, what'd you think of this? I think I know what you're gonna say, but I want to hear you say it.
Because for those people that might be correcting Corey already, it's 138 years.
Well, oh, fuck off, whatever. At that point, what is 4 years? I mean, that's like 12 seconds in cryo.
That's true.
You can just see the angry
I-
commenters now smashing
Yeah.
their keyboards with
Yeah.
glee. Go ahead.
So one of the funny things about it was when Harry doesn't recognize Salvor, he's like, "And you are."
It's like the Mad Men thing. I don't think about you at all.
Oh man, it
He's
was
like, but you've been sending me the messages, and he's like, bitch, please get out of here. I got way more other important
He's
shit.
like,
Just eats out of there.
with the visions. He's like, visions. What the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm not even real. Like, I'm a freaking hologram with comprised of like metal things that I swallowed that like basically reorganized my being and took time from the null field to create this catacomb of that is the vault of which I transcended from. Like,
Yes, genius
I
rock.
like. Yeah, I liked I like the way Harry explained all that. Not for the sake of explaining it, but just it's Jared Harris, and the more Jared Harris, the better. And like you said, the foundation was about curating people, not knowledge. I love how we dropped the spoiler bomb about the murderer was Cleon the Second, the first clone of the genetic dynasty, and everyone's like, what?
Say what now?
Yeah. What? And then that's where like we all need to like bond together, and they of course they do. And like I think Gail's the way she said it about, surprisingly, Hugo is now captain of the Invictus, and I'm like, is it really surprising though? I mean, I kind of figured that was going to happen, because he essentially became like this leader of the Thespins. So again, I think some of it was a little predictable, while it did get better over the course of 10 episodes, of course.
Sure.
But I was right when I said by the time Gale gets to Synax,
Yeah.
the wave was going to wipe out everything. Surprise, surprise, it did. And again, the whole point of actually that happening again, which was a little foreseeable to an extent, of where Salvor goes there. She's like, I gotta find this, gotta find my mother, because my mother. Okay, sci-fi. Because I feel like she's been calling out to me. Yeah, yes, you're correct. Yes. And so, but now I'm like, great. So you've got a mother and a daughter that are essentially the same age. Or maybe I don't know if Gale's younger than Salvor.
She looks younger.
She looks younger.
Yeah. So how does that work? Because it's like she's been in cryosleep for 138 years, as you aptly corrected me.
Yeah.
Is she 138 years old, or is she preserved at like her early 20s?
The latter.
It's kind of like I'm like it's saying I'm like I'm 500 years old, but my body is only aged for 30, right?
Yeah. So it's like Austin Powers, basically.
Yeah, exactly like Austin Powers. So
I wonder if Gale had like a super long pee when she came out of cryosleep.
Yeah, maybe.
Evacuation complete.
Evacuation come. Evacuation come.
Leave it to me to make an Austin Powers reference on it.
I mean, Halo, it seems. Yeah. Cryo was cryo, right?
That's it.
But I like the setup of what they were sort of establishing, right? Like it's going to take 18 months to build another Invictus. So it's like Harry said, war is inevitable with Empire. And of course I'm like, yes, bring war and sci-fi, because I wonder
when that'll happen though. Is that a season 2 thing? Is that season 3? Like, is that something we build towards over the course of the next couple seasons, or what?
We got like the pivot, right?
I think so.
Like, I mean, throughout this whole season, we assumed that Harry was just, basically what the Foundation was assuming was that, he was using math, but it's actually he's trying to overthrow the Empire, which is
Genius.
a bomb that dropped in this one. I did think, like, from a storytelling perspective, it was a little underwhelming that he just like popped out of the vault, talked for 5 minutes. Everyone's like, okay, we're just gonna listen to this guy, and then he yeets out of there, and that's
like,
it.
I gave
Like,
you all
that's
that you
it.
needed to know for now.
Yeah, bye.
Right? Like, I'm like, so where did he go? Is he just chilling in the
Yeah, I
vault
don't like.
still,
He could have been
or
pretty helpful, right?
does he go back to like was it
He doesn't
Helicon?
die.
Right? Like, well, that was the other thing, right? Like, so we don't see any of the continuation from
The
Helicon. So we
Helicon
don't.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's where again, I wasn't really expecting that to get filled in the finale because it would just been too much and too disjointed at that point. But I am really curious to see what's going to happen in the next season because, yeah, what's the I can't think of the Anacreon guy who gives
I don't know his name.
Salvor the
He's
I don't
such a
know anyone's
memorable
name in
Pharaoh's
this
character.
bow.
show. I just
Yeah, like I'm wondering if some of these
Anacreon guy.
characters.
That's
I'm
his
wondering
name.
if this. Yeah,
He's the
Farrah's
second in command guy.
exactly. Like,
There, great.
I wonder if like, and I'm
Khal
hoping
Drogo.
for the Count Drogo rip. I'm
Count
wondering if
Faco.
yeah. I'm wondering if these people like will actually have more important roles. And again, like now that they've been established, like, can we please get some deeper character development with them? Now if they're going to be like routinely in the next season because
Sure.
they try to add so much, and it's you've got the three from Empire, you've got Demerzel, you've got you got Harry, you got Gale, you got Salvor, you got Hugo, you got Farrah, R.I.P. to the neck, and then you got a second in command guy, I mean, and then you've got all the other characters that kind of pop up, from time to time, like Azura, I can't think of the people from the moon, the spiral, whatever,
The
those people.
The religious people.
Yeah.
Those ones.
So I
We're
really
gonna get
hope.
commented
The High
blue
Sparrow.
hair
I
on this
know,
video.
like, God, you're an idiot for not remembering it. We've watched so much fucking television and movies this weekend. My mind is just
Well,
sauced.
I don't think this is. I think this is actually a critique of the show. Is that like these
Yeah.
characters are not very memorable, and they also don't say their names a lot. Like
True.
one thing that shows do very effectively sometimes is when you first get introduced to a character, they overtly state their name multiple times, and you may not catch this until you like are looking for it. But like in well-made movies and shows, they will say the name of the character repeatedly early in the show or movie so that you don't forget their name. But in this, I feel like we never got that. And just like, I don't know anyone's names except for Salvor and Gale and Harry, and then the Empire.
Right, exactly.
Like, we didn't know who Demerzel, what her name was until like halfway through the season, remember?
I think we were on a recording and I was like, what the hell is
like
that
Robot
person's
Lady.
name?
Yeah,
I need to look Robot Lady's name up.
The android, her with blonde hair.
So Shane, what do you think is going to happen between Gale and Salvor?
I don't really care.
Oh, wow. That's all right.
I mean, maybe they go to Helicon. I am watching this show, and maybe this is pivoting into the like overall season thoughts. But like,
sure, why not? This is a train wreck as it is, so go for it.
The Empire plot is why I'm watching this show. If the Empire plot did not exist, this show would be bad. It's just is what it is, which is weird because the stuff that is not good is the stuff that they adapted from the books, and the stuff that is good is stuff that is brand new that is not in the books at all.
Funny how that works out.
Yeah, it's the anti Game of Thrones. When they have source material, it's bad. When they don't, it's good. So no, I mean, this is not a a hot take at all, but like the Empire stuff is significantly better than the whole rest of the show.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I'm hoping that the writers kind of see that. I know that production's underway already, but I'm hoping that maybe before they started production and as they were writing the scripts, they kind of got some, feedback on what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
Because if they can make the Gale and Salvor stuff a little bit more compelling, then this show gets elevated immensely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But as it stands, every time the Empire is not on screen, this is just not a good show.
I don't know if I would say not a good show. I would say
it's not a bad show, but it's not
like a
good
prestige
show.
TV show. Like it doesn't hit the same highs if it doesn't have the Lee K stuff.
I think it was, in retrospect, it was a bold thing to say that this wants to be like Game of Thrones, because if you compare Game of Thrones season 1 to Foundation season 1, I'm sorry, but Game of Thrones season 1 is far better.
Even close, yeah.
So, and again, I think it was a bold take, and I think if that's something you aspire to achieve with the show, that's fine. Just make sure that the final seasons are better than the final seasons of Game of Thrones at that point, because then that's something we could talk about. So maybe they're starting here in Foundation and just ascending.
Ascension,
yeah, Ascension. But I would say, for the sake of what they should do next season, is focus on the main characters, build upon them, make us care, make Shane care about them, right? Like,
it's a tough ask.
But even then, though, I feel like if he gives a shit a little bit more about them, then they've done their job. I mean, because I think the only characters that most of us really look forward to are Harry, Empire, maybe Demerzel. Although I'm really curious to see what happens with her moving forward after she has this like panic attack or whatever, fit of rage, I think is what I put in my notes. So why the ripping of the face or her skin? Will she have a different face, or is she going to apply the same one?
Electric Boogaloo.
Demerzel harder.
And of course, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of new faces because of the whole, rebel, you rebel scum. They're going to start flying X-wings, and they've got to start a destroyer of their own.
There's a critical flaw in the Invictus, and all it takes is one shot.
It's no bigger than a swamp rat, 2 meters wide. And the beggar. So here's my question for you guys, and anyone else watching at this point. How will Gale and Savor get off of Synax?
We asked the exact same question
when both of their pods have sunk to the bottom of the floor, to the sea floor.
The magical bottle that turned into a canoe.
Will
turn into a rocket ship.
Spaceship.
Yeah. I'm like, so do they have something in the bag that is like, oh yeah, this is just gonna blow up into a ship?
Why is it not an electric boat? Why did they make her paddle?
And by the way, she was not good at paddling. Did you know this? She was like, It's like, bro, you're not going to go anywhere.
Like, can you paddle for us? Great, cool, awesome.
The bottle could have turned into anything. It turned into manual labor.
Yeah. You think with the kind of technology that they would have been able to have a little motor on there or something
I don't understand.
That.
Maybe. But
hey, here's the arm workout.
I think we can all agree, though, this show, this first season, it went for big, bold, massive, sweeping epic. Like, that was the idea, right?
Yeah.
I think that for the second season, it might benefit the show if they tried to go a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
And I know that that's kind of the antithesis of what a show like this probably wants to be, but I think we've seen that the quieter, more dramatic, more intimate moments are where the really good stuff has happened. Like, you can still do your super wide landscape shots with like planet rings and multiple moons and all that stuff, and it can still look beautiful like it did. Because the show, especially this episode, I thought cinematography was outstanding.
Yeah,
it was epic. Beautiful shots.
However, if you shrink down the cast size a little bit, focus the story, if you're going to do 10 episodes again, I think you can get a lot more out of your core characters and just kind of okay, cool. Those other guys, like the second in command dude that we don't know his name, like he can just go do his thing. Because I think he
Yeah.
got promoted from second in
Just-
command to second in command again.
Yeah.
He's now Hugo's second in
Right.
command on the Invictus. So
Right.
we don't need to see him in
Yeah.
season 2, right? Like just shrink it down a little bit,
Yeah.
keep it simple and tell a good story. And I think if
Yep.
they do that, season 2 will be very good.
Yeah. The best thing they could do is connect the Gale and Salvor story to the Empire story.
Yep.
And the worst thing they could do is cutaways to whatever the fuck Hugo's doing for the rest of the season. Like that.
Yo, he's going back to Arrakis to get some more spice. My man's eyes are blue
Yeah.
in that episode.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Dune
I did like that
crossover.
little moment where they like said their goodbyes. Like it
sweet.
worked a little bit. Like, we didn't have a ton of like build up to that relationship, but like it built throughout the show or throughout the season, and so like you actually give a little bit of a shit. Which is more than I could hope for on Terminus.
Yeah, and they're both genuinely sad. Their booty call is now not a thing anymore. They got to find somewhere new to get off. So I get it.
Oh, yours was executed? Cool. Mine's back home. 138 light years away, whatever it is.
That's right. Well,
So,
that's it for season 1. So where are we ranking this one? Shane, give me an episode score for episode 10 and then a season score out of 10.
They'll be the same. I'd give this episode a 7. I'd give the season a 7. If I was just reviewing the Empire, I'd give it a 9.
Okay.
But just everything else kind of drags it down. Like the Empire stuff is legitimately like some of the best television out there right now. Like that stuff is awesome.
yeah.
The rest of it kind of drags it down. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more balance next season.
Got it. So Shane is IGN. Nick, where do you fall on both the episode and the season as a whole?
7GN.
I'm so sorry, Shane.
I want someone to do a cut of all the episodes and just put a huge compilation of just all the Empire
All
stuff.
the Empire. Yeah.
Just Empire stuff. And
Just
I'm gonna watch
title
it.
the show Empire.
Yeah. Foundation Empire.
Yes.
And I want to watch just that and just see how well it is on its own without the cuts to and anywhere else in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And just see its glory, because I agree. Whenever it's Empire, it's the lowest I think it would ever have dropped to in this season is like at an 8, but majority of it is just top tier quality writing and everything. Yeah, obviously we know that Terminus has dropped to like I think at the lowest we gave it was like a 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
So well, I would say this episode overall, I would probably give this episode. I'll be a little lenient. I'll say like this episode was an 8 because I know the Invictus stuff, Invictus Terminus stuff did get a little better, even though predictable, expected. Overall, I'd probably give this season about an 8 too. But Empire 9.
Yeah.
Foundation : Empire. 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think I'll agree with you guys.
The stuff from the books, is that what we're kind of getting at?
Yeah,
right?
the stuff from the books we've shit
Isaac.
on. Sorry, Isaac.
The new stuff that David S. Goyer plotted in there, terrific, wonderful.
I get a lot of negative comments about this.
I really like the Empire stuff in this episode, which put it at an 8 for me. Season overall, probably a 7.5. Because I was excited to watch it every single time.
We all were,
especially at the beginning. I was like super hooked into it at the beginning. It dragged a little bit in the middle, and then it kicked back up for the last final episode, especially on the Empire side of things. So 7.5 for me. Excited for season 2 though. I'm really curious to see where they go and if it falls into the sophomore slump or if it kicks off and really goes somewhere special. So that is going to do it for this video. We're wrapping a bow on season 1 of Foundation. So if you guys have made it through all 10 episodes and you've watched all 10 episodes of us covering it and me making every error in the book in regards to names, timelines, so on and so forth, drop us a comment below. Let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts and we'll make sure to respond to every single one that comes through. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already to get us towards our goal of 1,000 subscribers. We have a big slate of videos coming out this week. We've got this one. We've reviewed Finch over on Apple TV. We're going to talk about The Harder They Fall over on Netflix. We have Hawkeye coming out this week over on Disney Plus. We have Wheel of Time that came out on Amazon that we're going to talk about, and we bring on a book expert for that one, so it'll be very interesting. Nick, did I miss anything? Is there any other? The Shrink Next Door. We recorded that video already, and I forgot about it. So that just adds on to the slate.
There's
so we have a
coming too,
whole bunch of stuff, and there's more coming out after that. So we're very excited to be covering all these things. We thank all of you for enjoying these Foundation videos. We hope you'll check out some of our other reviews over on the channel. So be on the lookout for all that and so much more. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.
You killed all our subscribers.
I'm leaving that in.